Now, so before we get to the point when they can actually sit down and working with us, we have to really train them that habits, right? And it starts from, depend on your child, but normally I see this will happen around 3 years old, when we started to ask our kids and our students, now let's have a working session. And we as an adult have to really manage our expectation that this is just to setting up the habit. And I'm going to tell you step by step how we do that. This is important because when it comes to, doing some workbook and some project, and our child doesn't have enough patience, it's because they don't have that foundation. They don't have the expectation, the habits, the routine that's introduced to them. So of course suddenly we ask them to sit and work with us, it will be very challenging, right? So right now, what happened now, I would recommend starting from 3 years old, we are introducing the habit of sitting on a table and working. So now what is our goal, right? It's very simple. We just want to invite them to work on the table and make it like a 5 minutes or 7 minutes, up to you and your child. But we're gonna introduce a very quick exercise, and in the beginning you're gonna make it really exciting, something that they love to do. My daughter loves stickers. She used to, just open the whole bunch of Elsa stickers and then put that, and I'm okay with that because my goal is let her sit on the table and walk for 5 minutes. And we really need to have an end goal, like something when this happen, then you can go, this happen, you can jump, this happen, you can run. And for me, that is the timer. We put the timer, and she has her own Elsa watch, and she gonna put number 5 minutes, and when it's ding 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 ding, that means she can run, right? So she knows the level of commitment that we are asking, and we're teaching them what is 5 minutes here too. So it's not too long, it's not too short. 5 minutes is doable for a child that's 3 years old, and we can let them, okay, here's the options: coloring, stickers, or doodling, or tracing, and they would choose. But it will happen only after, like when you finish this one, you can jump, or when the timer goes off, you can run, right? So that's the end goal. And this something that, when you pick an activities, you really need to look at something that you want them to be able to do 80% of the action, not relying on your help, because that means they are independent and they don't rely on you. 80% that should be completed by them. So for my daughter, she just do the stickers, and I would ask her, can you make it by a pattern? And she would do that, right? Because the sticker, she loves it. And then she can do it by themselves. She can do it by herself without asking me, because it's not too tiny. It's good with her fine motor skills. So we do that. And the table also important, right? When you set up a table for your child, it's important that like us, we have to have the table level should be close to our chest, like this, our lower chest, right? And then our feet should be able to touch the ground, right? That means we're comfortable. If not, it's too tall or too short, it's not good for their spine, not good for their posture. So make sure that they have very nice, comfortable table and chair in order for them to work, right? And that's support their posture, and that way, because their back muscle is not fully developed yet in order to support them sitting long time. So you may see them doing like this is because their back muscle is not completely developed for that purpose. So we do that. And then when we have a nice working table, set up for them, maybe they have an Elsa lamp, maybe they have a nice little pencil cup holder, things like that, that they can motivate them to learn, right? So we invite them to the table. We tell them, hey, today we're going to start something new, and I'd like you to work on this table with me. I will sit here next to you, and you can choose from one of these 3 activities. We're going to put the timer. By the end of 5 minutes, you can run. So we invite them, right? And we okay, it's important that we choose the time to do that. Now, when should we do this activity? We don't want them to do it when it's, tired, when they're tired, when they're sleepy, or when they just woke up, right? Or when they're hungry. We want them to have the best mood. Normally, it's better if they are just finished, from their nap, 20 minutes or 30 minutes after that. And then they had some snack before. You can also do something in the morning when they are, have breakfast, maybe 30 minutes after that. In between the 30 minutes, you do some light jumping, light movement, exercise, dancing, and then you introduce this walking session, right? So the timing matters because we want a healthy and not grumpy baby to do the sessions. So the next thing is the consistency. So we're gonna do that every day at this time for 5 minutes, and you do that for 2 or 3 weeks. So the key is the consistency, and I know it's hard to maintain, but probably start something when you can commit to the time. You will be there for your child and do it with them, right? Because for the goal here is to start a new habit, and you see, right? In order to start a new habit, you have to repeat it for like 21 days in order to have that brain connection setting up, right, for us. And same with children. We don't want it to be on and off, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. We want it to be consistent. So pick a time, pick a day, and stay with that for the course of 2 or 3 weeks. Some baby can do that for 2 weeks, and you will see gradually the time can extend 2 more minutes, 5 more minutes. Gradually, you're gonna see them asking, "Do I have to sit in the chair now? Now that I finished my breakfast, is it the table time?" And sometimes kids will come into the table by themselves and pull out the chair by themselves because the habit is there, right? So at 3 years old, we want the habit to set up. We want the routine, and we want the activities to be exciting because that's what makes it stick, because they feeling motivated to do it. They are being in a good environment to do that. They are well rested. Their mind is totally focused, and they decide when it's done, right? When even before the time goes off and they are already done, we also accept that, right? Because the goal is to have them sitting on the table, and they say, "Oh, when you stand up, that means you're done. So let's clean up." So we're okay with that, right? But trust the process because it will stick. After 2 or 3 weeks, you see baby can adapt very well, and because they know the expectation, right? And maybe when 4 years old, you can slowly increase that to 15 minutes and even 20 minutes. My daughter can sit for 30 minutes because we would do some writing, we do some critical thinking, we do reading, and then that's 3 things is core, and before that she do piano. So in order for that to happen, now she's 5.5, and I find that the beginning steps of me training her to do the routine at the table work, it's already start way earlier, right? So she's not complaining about that anymore. And sometimes we would have a break where it's weekend, it's do nothing days, and that's okay because we also want a break sometime for parents too. So that works, but know that they can learn with structure, with routine. They will adapt, and we are setting them up for success because in the school they're gonna sit for a long hour block of working on math and reading in the classroom, right? And when our children are already used to that, it's gonna be a huge relief for teacher because we know that they know that our kids are already well prepared and they can do more exercise with our children in the classroom instead of just fixing behaviors and helping with all sort of self-regulation stuff. So we don't want that, right? We want in the kid in their school they can work more. So you start with 5 minutes. Gradually you add another 2 minutes, another 3 minutes, Ideally, a general rule of thumb for focus time is adding 5 minutes to their age. So let's say if they're 3, maximum or minimum on average is 8 to 15 minutes. 15 minutes is good because, like I said, this is a working session, right? And it's brain work. But yeah, you know your child bad. You try something else. If it's earlier, then you can introduce something lighter or have some reward after, right? Like one thing that I also doing something at home for my children is we have like a chart of, okay, we check a box on a day that we do a working session. Normally she comes home and before dinner we do that, and then after 4 or 5 stickers she would have like a cross. If she do that continuously for 5 days, then she'll have some rewards, right? And that's gonna be a trip to dollar store that she can buy something as $2. So I set a budget aside of $5 a month she can use, and she can go to the dollar store one time and get a big toys, or 3 times and get something like, you know, some sticker with gems, which is $1, something like that. But that's her salary. In a way, she's doing her job. She can gain that. So in a week, maybe spend $2, one and a half, $150 for them, and they know that there's some reward at the end, because our brain still needs some sort of, you know, rewards to motivate, and that send out the like the end goal, like some finishing line for them. Otherwise it's keep going and it can be dragging, right? It can be really draining when there's no end goal. So I use that system as a way for motivating her. And some parents would argue that, oh, but that's not truly self-motivated. It's we like, I get that, but it's the same working for us, right? Like if I achieve something nice, like my to-do list or my goal, I treat myself something nice. So that's something that I love to do, and that's give me like a finishing line in order to get more energy to go more. So that's something that I do. Even it sounds like too much pressure for our child, but she doesn't feel like that. She saw that, okay, when she has 5 cross, she can actually get a reward, and that's already been communicated before, and she can choose that, and she was excited about that, right? So Q&As.